I didn't care. I didn't get it. You know, I think I had just played a lot of Galaxy 1 and I enjoyed it, but I was just kind of I think there
Kind
might
of
have been
burned out.
some I think there might have been some other games coming out at the time that I was a lot more interested in. So I just didn't really pay attention to it until a few years after when I got it. And I did love it, but yeah, what about you when it was first announced?
I was really excited for it because like I was a huge fan of the first game, and after hearing about the second one and then seeing like you could play as Yoshi and stuff, I was really excited to play. I think that was the game that got me back into playing Mario games because there was like a phase for 4 years where I didn't play Nintendo at all, and this was I think the game that got me back into playing that kind of stuff. What did you think when you first played this game?
I mean, I loved it. Like I it reminded me what I liked about the first game and why I completed the first game. Yeah, I mean that's all I have to say in terms of like what I felt. It was roughly the same as the first. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much same thoughts. Thought it was a lot of fun. Really similar to the first game. I felt it had a lot more in it. Well, obviously it did. You had to collect all those green stars. But it was nice having the inclusion of Yoshi, and I think there were like a couple more worlds in comparison to the first game. Yeah, what did you like? What did you prefer, the first or the second Galaxy? I've always preferred the second one.
I don't know. I don't think I've really gone back and played the first one since I beat the second one, and I don't really think I've gone back to the second one that much. So I don't really know. I can say the thing is, since we might as well get into just in comparison of the two, the first one had the punch. You know what I mean? Like that was just a gut punch of like, holy cow! Look at all these things you can do. Whereas the second one just didn't have that. But because it was the second game, they were able to refine stuff that already was okay or good in the first game and make it even better. Yeah, Yoshi was not mind-blowing. Like Yoshi was cool and Yoshi was fun, but it was not the same mind-blowing thing as just like being in space for the first time in Mario. But he was a lot of fun. He made a lot of levels really cool, and I think they did a lot more experimental things in the second one. A lot more like really unique and weird levels. So yeah, so I don't know. I guess now I would maybe say that I like the second one more, but you know, playing for the very first time, I don't know that I could really compare it to like the experience of playing Mario Galaxy for the first time.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I guess another point to make in terms of them like refining the first game is that if you're playing this game two-player, like I played Mario Galaxy 2 almost the whole thing with the second person, it was a lot better for them because they could now shoot star bits as well as like stun enemies, collect coins for me, collect one-ups for me. So it was actually pretty, I thought the game was more fun because of that. Like it was really cool playing what's essentially a single player game with someone else like just kind of helping on the side. So
I can't say I played this multiplayer, but that's good because yeah, the first game was little simplistic.
is there any levels you can think of off the top of your head that you really enjoyed in this one?
Throwback Galaxy.
Ooh, yeah.
Of course. I mean, I would have loved to see a little bit more done with it, but just being there was cool. Like I said, a lot of what makes these worlds for me is just the experience of them, not specifically any like mission or whatever. And yeah, that one was just so cool to see that. I also like the one I can't remember the name, but there was one with piantas where it's like a little ocean area, and I believe Yoshi's there too.
Yeah, Sunshine Galaxy, I think.
That's that would probably be it. Which again is weird that my favorite worlds are the ones from the like that are based on previous games, but
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, like a nice little continuity thing. But I also seem to remember like you do a lot of fun stuff with Yoshi there, like running around and ballooning him and stuff. So those are my two favorites. What about you?
I would probably say Tall Trunk Galaxy. The one star that I remember from there is where you basically have to go down this pipe, but it's like playing a slide level in Mario 64. Look at that. We both like things related to the older games. What does that tell you? But yeah, like it was so cool because, you know, not only did it feel like the old school slide levels, but it actually felt like they were improving on them because now, you know, you could slide on the walls, on the ceilings. There were like jumps you had to make, enemies to avoid. Like it really felt like it was a really solid updated version of the old school slide levels.
You know, well, we didn't talk about this in Galaxy 1, but this is something that's in both of these games. These games probably have my absolute favorite swimming with
Yes.
the Koopa Shell. With the Koopa Shell, because it's actually fun. You move fast, you're fluid, Fluid. No, seriously, like, am I crazy, or is this like the best implementation of swimming, like
Oh
in
yeah,
3D platformers?
swimming ever. I have never
Yeah.
enjoyed swimming except in Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. It's the only game that I can think of that actually got swimming right.
And there's the light with the Koopa shell that you can kind of see where you're going. Like,
Yep.
oh, it's just it's done so well. And there's a lot of like really nice water levels in these games because of it. Like, yeah, sorry, I just thought I'd bring that up because that was something that came to mind that's unique to these two games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is there anything else that you really like specifically about the game before we get on to the stuff that we don't like?
Honestly, not that I can think of. I mean, we've already covered most of it in terms of the first Galaxy game because, I mean, they're both so similar. But yeah, in terms of levels that I disliked, the perfect run. I mean, did you get to that one?
Yes, I think I did. I believe I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
It's not cool.
I think, do we even need to talk about the perfect run? The internet already knows what it is. It's one of the most unfair levels ever created in terms of Mario.
I get that they wanted to, especially from Galaxy 1, they wanted to ramp up the challenge. But yeah, difficult.
It went too far.
But is there anything else in general about the game that you don't really like? It's hard for me. I can't really even say. I guess to give something is the overworld would have been nicer to do something with. I believe it or not, I actually think that this overworld is better than the one in Galaxy 1 just because even though Mario's head is tiny, there's actually stuff to do on it. You can actually go and like check out a museum of the power-ups. You can talk to several characters. It's not much. It's still kind of lame, but I think that they did more with it than they did, and it grows as you do more stuff. The one in Galaxy 1 kind of does too, but not in a big way at all. You just get access to other areas. But
yeah.
this one actually grows as you pick up people from galaxies.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on the overworld, honestly. Like, I looked around it my first playthrough, but after that, it was just, I felt indifferent about it.
I mean, it was cool that they gave kind of the best of both worlds. Well, not the best of both worlds, but they gave you basically the option that if you're like, all right, you don't want to deal with any of this overworld crap, you could just go to the levels. You don't even really have to do much of anything on the overworld.
Yeah, it felt more appropriate for this kind of game because there are so many levels. So it felt much more structured compared to the first Galaxy game because honestly, I can't tell you where half of the levels are.
Yeah.
And I've played Mario Galaxy probably 3 or 4 times through. I don't even know where, like,
That's
Toy Time Galaxy. I don't know where to go to get that.
That's a good
problem.
point. That's actually a really good point that because they're based upon like just the rooms in this conservatory or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's not really much of a grouping with them. Whereas in Galaxy 2, there are worlds that have more structured.
It's a little. I mean, it's still hard to find your way around, but it is easier to find what you need to find. So I guess we will move on to the final 2 3D, and I say that with quotations, Mario games. So
well, they're 3D. They're so 3D. It's in the name.
Oh yeah. They look 3D. Super Mario 3D Land. What did you think of this one?
For the 3DS. This is the 3DS one, if you're someone who gets confused on that.
Yes, yeah, 3D Land, 3DS one. So what do you think when it was first announced?
I don't know. I was like, see, I'm always more of a fan of the more open world stuff, and the more they make it linear, and this is even more linear than Galaxy by like a lot. The more I'm just kind of like, oh well, I miss the open world, but I was like, all right, this could be a fun distraction.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I think when they first revealed the trailer, they didn't show. I mean, maybe they showed that there was a flagpole, showing, hey, these are linear levels. I don't remember. But, like, at first, I thought it looked pretty cool, and even maybe so that they were going back to their old roots. Because, like, wow, these are more fantasy levels. Maybe this will kind of play like Mario 64, which didn't end up happening. Not even close. What did you think of the game when you, like, first played it?
I had fun, but, like, it's not something that sticks with me. This is, like, a portable, disposable game. It's something that younger me would have traded in back when I traded in games. Like, easily I would have traded it in pretty fast. Because,
I mean, it's not something that most Mario games are like.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Like, again, I don't remember, not having fun with it except for something that I'll talk about in a little bit, but like, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't have much staying power. There isn't, especially once the sequel came out. What do you think?
I remember first picking this up. When I got a 3DS, I bought Mario Kart 7, New Super Mario Bros. U, or 2, I mean, and 3D Land all on the same day. This was the last game I played because it looked the least interesting. And when I played it, it took me at least an hour or two to get used to the controls and the really weird perspective behind it. And after I got used to it, I started to have more fun, but overall, I just felt like really underwhelmed. Like, it just kind of, like, nothing felt really connected. It was just like, okay, I'm playing some random levels, and, like, I haven't even 100% the game yet. That's how much I just didn't care about it.
I mean, it basically is a new Super Mario Bros. Game, but with a little bit of depth.
Yeah, slightly.
I mean that literally. I don't mean that it's a deeper game in terms of actual gameplay. Yeah, and
This
I mean
feels
that's
so barren, which is unusual, because, like, you think of, like, 64 Sunshine, even the Galaxy games, those have charm. They have really interesting, subtle things added to them, but this is just like, here's some levels. Here you go. This is all you get.
But it is a handheld game. So that's not an excuse for it to be like non-themed, but I do think that I think it was a lot more of an experiment and stuff, and so
yeah, Nintendo said that this was an experiment game.
So yeah, but do you think that you enjoyed it even though it's flawed, or do you think that you just didn't even enjoy it at all?
Well, see, the thing is, I haven't played it in so long, I don't even remember if I enjoyed it. Like, I actually recently got a 3DS capture card, so for those of you that have been requesting 3D Land top 10s, they're coming, so I am going to play it more in the future. So I honestly don't have an answer if I enjoyed it or not, because I just don't even remember playing it.
So you don't, and you don't even have like a favorite or least favorite level?
No, I can't remember a single one of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Can you remember any of the levels?
In terms of favorites, no. All I remember is that there's a whole like second half of this game once you finish the first, like once you completed it, and it's basically just you play as Luigi through, I think, slightly modified versions of the levels, and it's so blatantly not different. And I mean, all right, fine. It's technically like post game content or whatever. You don't need to play it. But it was kind of disappointing that like you see all of this that you unlocked, and it's just like the same thing again and again. If I had really had a lot of fun playing the first way through, I might have actually played more of the Luigi stuff. But at that point, I had kind of had my fun and had my fill. So I enjoy it for what it is. But yeah, it's not something. I think it's the worst of the games we're talking about today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just there's nothing about it that really sticks out. Like, it's just kind of there.
Sticks out in 3D?
Haha.
Nothing about it that flies in your face? No. Ready to move on?
Sure. So, the last 3D Mario game as of now, Super Mario 3D World. I guess real quick, thoughts when it was announced, like, oh my gosh, I was actually really excited for this for some reason. I don't know why, like, even when I played it, like, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Now I kind of know, okay, it's just kind of like a sequel to 3D Land, but, like, when I first saw the trailer, I was so excited because, there were 4 playable characters, it looked beautiful, there were new power-ups. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I thought of the game. What did you think?
Yeah, I was hoping it would be more open, because the weird thing is that, like, in the name with the sequel, like the previous one, you'd think it'd be called like Super Mario Land U, or like, I don't know, Land 2 or something. I get that the land corresponds to the handheld Mario Land games, whereas 3D World represents the, Super Mario World, but like, you'd think that they'd connect it in a different way than calling it 3D, because like, well, this one isn't actually in 3D. The other one was actually in 3D. This one, I mean, it's in the third dimension, like, depth-wise, but you wouldn't call Mario 64 like Mario 3D 64. I don't know, it's weird title-wise. Anyway, I was hoping it'd be different from Land, and it really wasn't. What about when you first started playing?
Yeah, I honestly had much more fun with this compared to 3D Land. Like, I kind of just wish that 3D Land never existed and they just made 3D World, because it feels like a much more refined 3D Land. And I would have been okay if this was like the only type of Mario game that there was, but there's 2 of them. Like, I honestly had a lot more fun playing this than 3D Land, because I felt like I had more control. Like, the control was a lot better. The worlds were much more unique.
They were also fatter, like depth-wise, whereas before it felt very, very much like you were on a lane, but like,
Yeah.
you know, you could move a little bit forward and a little bit backwards. This one definitely has like the depth that maybe Galaxy, not quite as much as Galaxy, but it has a lot more where there's like verticality, and there are areas where you can like go pretty far away and you know, up close. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there's definitely more to do in the actual levels. Like they give you a timer, but for most levels it doesn't really matter unless it's like, you know, one of those stars where you just have to beat it, you know, in like a minute or something. But there are some worlds where you can actually just kind of explore and just, you know, find hidden one-ups or whatever, find coin blocks, stuff like that.
an important question to ask when we're talking about this game was, how did you play it? Did you play it with other people, or did you play it alone?
My first playthrough, I actually played almost the whole thing in one day. It was on my own, but I've played it with other people, and it's definitely not as fun with other people.
Really? I would have expected the other way. See, I haven't. I played it single player, and then I think I've done a few levels with other people, but I haven't like really been able to dive in with other
Yeah.
people. I just assumed it would be a lot more fun. But what's not necessarily what's worse about it? The camera?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think playing with people could have been really great if they just did split screen. The problem is they have to try to keep everyone on the screen at once, and when everyone moves at their own pace, it's not fun because the camera zooms out way too much.
I know how to solve this problem. Nintendo should create a home system with a second screen, and then you can fix this problem.
That's a good idea. I think they should do it.
I mean, you know, Nintendo. If they do that, they might like completely ignore the functionality they have.
It sounds like something they do. Yeah.
What is even the gamepad used for in that game? I'm trying to think. Is it just off TV play?
I think it's just off TV play. Oh, there's actually a couple levels where you need to like tap enemies or use the microphone.
Or blow in the microphone. Yeah, but it's really gimmicky.
Very minor.
Yeah.
Like honestly, multiplayer could have been awesome if there was 4-player split screen. Because then
Yeah.
that way everyone could just kind of explore on their own.
Or the gamepad, at least with 2 people. You know, you
Yeah.
can easily do that. I don't know. Maybe the frame rates would have to drop or something. I don't know.
I think,
But
yeah,
it's-
the frame rate probably would have dropped from 60 to 30, but it wouldn't have been that big a deal.
So do you have a favorite level / world?
Well, similar to the Galaxy games in 3D Land, it's hard to think of favorites just because there's so many, but the one that sticks out to me is definitely the Super Mario Kart level. That one's really fun.
That's the one where you run really fast through like the whole level, right?
Yeah, you just go through like a crap ton of speed boosts, and you have to make all these really tight jumps. You go down the slides, the Super Mario Kart music's playing. Oh, it's really fun. And the Plessy levels are cool too.
Wasn't there also a Zelda level, now that I'm remembering?
There wasn't a Zelda level, but there was like a secret where
But
like...
the level was kind of like Zelda in that you had to put out fire or put stuff on fire or something.
Well,
Remember that?
they have levels like that. They did actually make like a very obvious Zelda reference. I forgot where it was, but
It
like
was
the
in-
Zelda music started playing.
I think
and
it was in
stuff.
one of the bonuses. No, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that level, it's not strictly based around Zelda, but it's based around some things related to Zelda, like lighting stuff on fire. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That one's not one of my favorites. I just thought I'd bring that up.
Well, what is one of your favorite levels?
I like the final boss. I think this might be one of my favorite final boss fights. Just the ridiculousness of Cat Bowser, and then he multiplies himself. And meanwhile, you're trying to like climb up this. I don't even remember what it is, but you're just like climbing and climbing and climbing. It's a really fun boss fight. For everything else in this game, not really striking me as. For me, this is like middle of the road. I enjoyed it, but again, I wouldn't necessarily like play it again and again and again. But I really like that final boss, and really any level with the double cherry I felt was like a lot of fun, where you were managing multiple Marios or Luigis or Toads or Peaches or secret character. It's pink gold Peach. No.
I hope it isn't.
Well, it's Blue Peach. Oh. Shots
It's the
fired.
waifu version of Peach.
Shots fired. No. It's Tall Peach. So, I like the double cherry, but yeah, nothing too specific. I like the more casino themed levels for Bowser's World. That was a cool theme. But yeah, I mean, what about anything you dislike?
It's hard to... I know there were some levels that I disliked that I can't think off the top of my head. I know, like Mario Galaxy 2, Mario 3D World had to have that one level at the very end that's nearly impossible. I know you've never played it.
Nope.
But everyone that has played it, Champions Road, dear God, they went way too far with that level.
What
Ugh.
can you describe it briefly?
Well, it's hard to describe because it's such a huge level. So there's like 8 different sections. And, there's one section where, gosh, I can't even remember. Like, there's so much crap happens. Like, there's a lot of very tight jumping. Those platforms that change to the beat?
Yes.
There's a section where the beat changes like every half a second. The very last section, the whole thing is made of speed boosts. And you have to collect 5 of those key coins, where if you collect 5 of the coins, you get a key or whatever. That section is almost impossible because there's like a bunch of, what are those things called that produces the red death circles? I forgot what they're called.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, where you can jump on top of them. I don't know what they're called, but
yeah, there's like 10 of those in this area, all going off at the same time, and you're running around on only speed boost, and you have to collect 5 of these things. Like, oh my god, it's absolutely ridiculous. It went too far.
Yeah, I don't really necessarily have anything. I mean, I'm sure there are levels that I dislike. It's just nothing that I remember, and I guess I dislike that there's just a lot of this game that I find to be just really, really forgettable and really bland. I mean, I guess the only other thing I really would think to talk about is, what about the cat suit?
Oh, I love the cat suit.
Yeah,
one
that's
of the
probably
greatest power-ups they've made in years.
I think if nothing else, this game knew how to make 2 really cool power-ups.
Yeah, especially like the cat suit. It's so versatile. Like, you can do so many things with it. It's not just like it has this one function. Oh, you can climb up walls. You can attack people with it. You can do like a flying cat jump dive.
You can
thing.
look adorable.
You can look adorable.
Oh,
your character meows.
That stupid cat jump thing, or the dive. Like, I like it ordinarily, but there have been times when I've been screwed over.
Yeah,
so hard by that dive, because muscle memory for Galaxy will tell me that if I do a little waggle, that sounds odd. If I shake the Wii controller, I'll get a little extra air. But this game tells you that if you do that, then you're dive bombed to death.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, now we've gone through all of the 3D Mario games. I guess just overall, what do you think about 3D Mario, and what would you like to see come from it in the future?
Well, I mean, I love the 3D stuff more than the 2D stuff, to be honest with you. As much as I like platformers, 3D platformers are, like, I really, really like them, and I don't think there's enough of them in the world. And I'm hoping that Yooka-Laylee will bring back somewhat of a resurgence. I really want, like, an open world. Even of the 3D stuff, I like it when it's more close to, like, a scavenger hunt type of thing, where you can really get immersed in a world, and there's several things to do, and some stuff's, like, hidden, but, even if it is super, like, weird and obscure, like, the hidden stuff just means that you spend a lot of time in that world looking for it. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And I think that, I hope that Nintendo will do something more open world for the next one, because they've already kind of taken 2D Mario to its extreme with Mario Maker. And in terms of 3D, we've got 2 in Galaxy. That's also kind of an extreme where, like, where else can you go from a galaxy? Like, exactly. Yes, we had World and Land, which felt like a major step backwards, in a number of ways, in that it was more like a 2D Mario, and in that, again, you go from a galaxy to, like, I don't know, clear pipes, which are cool, but, like, it's not, so I think that maybe making fewer levels that are a lot bigger would be a step that Mario has never really done that would be really cool. How about you?
I'm definitely on board with you. I honestly wonder if they kind of incorporated, like, Zelda elements where you need to solve, like, really small puzzles to kind of get through stages in an open world Mario game. I think that would honestly be a good thing to try. Like, honestly, I want them to experiment again, like they did with Sunshine.
Well, I think honestly, that's not even more like Zelda. That's more like Banjo-Kazooie.
Like Banjo-Kazooie too.
I'm more for where you're helping out people. You get, like, quasi quests. They're not quests in the same way that, like, you get quests in shooters where there's, like, a waypoint and stuff, but quests in that, like, people will be like, hey, I lost my hat in that tree over there, go find it, like stuff like that. Yeah,
I can almost see them doing that. I really don't think they're gonna make another linear 3D Mario game. I mean, Nintendo themselves must be tired of making those freaking games. They've been doing it for, like, over 10 years now? They haven't made an open world Mario game since Sunshine, technically speaking.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess we should clarify, at the very end here, after we've already said it, that when we say like open world, we mean like levels where you can go in and find like a star from a different level. Like you don't have to be on a specific level to find that specific star, and also just not a straight line. Like some of the levels in Sunshine and 64, they're like it's like a box. Like you're put at the start of a box, and you can go in any direction you want, whereas Galaxy is a lot of, like, you start at one end of a galaxy, and there's a linear path to the end of the galaxy, and then you get on a star, and then there's an end to that, and you're either climbing or doing just one specific direction you're moving in.
Exactly. Yeah, just more freedom to the player, really. Because for me personally, that feels more immersive, because,
bringing up old slogans there.
Yeah, like for especially Mario 64, you don't have to do stars in a specific order. Like if you want to complete like star 6 instead of star 1, you can do that. Even if you selected, okay, you're going to do star 1. Like I think the freedom to complete the stars in any order is really cool, because it's like when a player gets a star that they don't realize they thought, okay, this is a different star that I intended to get. It's like, wow, okay, I didn't even expect that. And what do you think's going to come next, I guess? Just final thoughts. Like, what do you think the next Mario game's going to be? Like, what's Nintendo going to do? How are they going to blow us out of the water?
Well, what is the NX?
I don't know.
That's the question. It's all dependent on whatever that NX is.
It's going to run Breath of the Wild, so I'm sure it'll be decent, I hope.
Breath of the Wild is actually the next Mario game.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's an unlockable character.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they go more open world, but I don't necessarily know that's what Nintendo's thinking. They might. It depends. It depends. If they don't have a good idea, they might just throw Galaxy 3 or even another 3D game, because I feel like those 3D World and Land are a lot easier to make than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So they might, if they're like strapped and they need to have something for the launch of the NX or coming out really fast, they might do something like that, But
I hope not.
Yeah, I think in terms of evolution, bigger is where they need to go, not more streamlined, a lot less streamlined.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really think I genuinely think they're going to do Galaxy 3 just because 1 and 2 performed so well. And I mean, think about like even the Wii U. They, Pikmin 1 and 2 were on the GameCube, but then they released Pikmin 3 on the Wii U. They skipped a whole generation, but Pikmin 3 still did really well. So I could definitely see them doing that, because there was no Galaxy game on the Wii U, so I could see it possibly being on the NX.
If Galaxy 3 was an open world Galaxy, I'd love that.
That would be amazing.
That.
Yeah,
that would be.
God.
Yeah. Like not, obviously not like, explore the entire universe all in one area. But no, but if they had like these big galaxies, and maybe there was like, warp pads or something to make it a little bit more manageable, or which star you selected started you in different parts of the world or of the galaxy or whatever. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, the only other thing I could think them doing, well, I don't think they'll do this, is if they made Super Mario Maker for 3D games. I don't think they do that though, because that would be way more complicated to do.
Yeah. I think we're more likely to see, I don't know, maybe that sort of thing becoming like a lot bigger online. I know there's a lot of ROM hacks now, but maybe someone will create a tool like whatever the Lunar Magic or whatever was for like 2D Mario editing Mario World. Maybe because Mario Maker kind of took over that whole like 2D ROM hack. Maybe someone will try to make an easy way for people to do 3D ROM hacks, to easily make them.
I mean, there's Toadstool for making Mario 64 games, but from what I've heard, it's very complicated. Like, you actually need to know, like, game developer kind of stuff.
I mean, that's not Nintendo. I'm just thinking, because that might be like a natural progression there, which would be cool. But yeah, I don't think Nintendo would do Mario 3D Maker, because I mean, I think it'd be feasible, but like I think part of what makes Mario Maker work so well is that it is simple, is that it can, a 5-year-old can create a Mario level, not a great one, but they can create that, where once you start adding in like complications in terms of making worlds, it's a little bit more different and a little bit harder to pitch to someone to sit down and spend like, 10 hours designing a level and choosing all this sort of arbitrary stuff.
Yeah, thinking in 3D space is much harder to do. All right, so I guess that pretty much wraps this up. I did not intend for us to go this long, but that's okay. Where can people find you?
PIEGUYRULZ, everything. Just that
Pie
name.
Guy Rules everything. Just Google it.
No, not Pie Guy Rules everything. Just Pie Guy Rules for everything.
You know what I mean.
Twitter. No, you're confusing the message.
All right, I'll just let you talk. Whatever.
And Pie Guy Rules on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube and all sorts of other places.
Cool.
I mean,
cool.
actually, that's pretty much it. Never mind.
You can find his channel in the description. I hope you guys really liked this video. I'm going to try doing more discussions. Just leave a comment, let me know if you enjoyed this, and what's your favorite 3D Mario game? Just kind of curious to see what everyone thinks, because we're a pretty different generation compared to the people that are watching this. So
yeah,
I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be saying like, "Hey, Galaxy 1 and 2 were like the best." So I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
What do you think is the best one? 64?
64 or Sunshine. They're both really good.
I'd need to think about that. But anyway, thanks for having me on your channel.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being on. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm pretty active on those sites. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.
Bye.